Attention all Australian drivers. 2026 is bringing some of the biggest traffic law changes we've seen in years, and if you don't know about them, you could be facing hefty fines, demerit points, or worse. Whether you've been driving for decades or just got your license, these new rules will affect you. Don't click away, because what I'm about to share could save you thousands of dollars and keep you safe on our roads. Welcome back to Pension Path AUS, your go-to source for essential information that affects everyday Australians. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss critical updates about laws, benefits, and changes that impact your life. Today, we're diving deep into the major traffic rule changes coming in 2026, and trust me, you need to know every single one of these before you get behind the wheel in the new year. Australian road rules are constantly evolving to keep up with new technology, changing road conditions, and safety concerns. The 2026 updates represent some of the most significant changes to our traffic laws in recent memory. These aren't minor tweaks. We're talking about fundamental changes to how we drive, what we can do behind the wheel, and how authorities will enforce the rules. Let's start with one of the biggest changes that's getting everyone talking: the expanded mobile phone detection camera network. We all know that using your phone while driving has been illegal for years, but enforcement is about to get seriously upgraded. New artificial intelligence-powered cameras are being rolled out across every state and territory. These aren't your standard speed cameras. These high-tech systems can detect if you're holding a phone, touching a phone, or even if your phone is in your lap while you're driving. The cameras work day and night, in any weather conditions, and can see through your windscreen with crystal clarity. The penalties for being caught are substantial. In New South Wales, you're looking at a $510 fine and 5 demerit points, or 10 demerit points if you're caught during double demerit periods. Victoria has similar penalties with fines up to $550. Queensland, Western Australia, South Australia, and other states are all implementing comparable penalty structures. What makes this even more serious is that these cameras are placed randomly and moved regularly, so you can't just memorize where they are. But it's not just about holding your phone. The new rules clarify that even if your phone is mounted, you can only touch it to make or receive a call, use audio functions, or use GPS navigation, and only if the phone is secured in a commercially designed holder fixed to the vehicle. You cannot text, check social media, take photos, watch videos, or do anything else with the phone, even if it's mounted. If you're on your learner or provisional license, you cannot touch your phone at all for any reason while driving, even if it's mounted. Another major change coming in 2026 involves speed limit enforcement in school zones. We all know school zones are strictly enforced, but the new rules are extending the hours and increasing the technology used to catch speeders. Many school zones will now operate from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. on school days, extended from the previous 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. window in many areas. This reflects the reality that many schools have before and after school care programs, and children are present outside traditional school hours. The fines for speeding in school zones are eye-watering. Going just 10 kilometers over the limit in a school zone can result in a fine exceeding $400 and 4 demerit points in most states. Go 20 kilometers over, and you're looking at over $600, 6 demerit points, and possible license suspension. These rules exist because children's lives are at stake. School zones are where kids are most vulnerable, and the reduced speed limits give drivers precious extra seconds to react if a child runs onto the road. Now let's talk about a change that affects many Australians, particularly our senior community: the new medical assessment requirements for older drivers. Several states are introducing stricter medical check requirements for drivers over certain ages. In some states, once you turn 75, You'll need to have a medical assessment every year instead of every 2 years. Once you reach 85, some states are requiring assessments every 6 months. These assessments aren't just a quick chat with your doctor. They include vision tests, cognitive function tests, reaction time assessments, and a review of any medications you're taking that might affect your driving. Your doctor needs to specifically certify that you're fit to drive. If there are any concerns, you may be referred for a practical driving test. These rules are designed to keep everyone safe, including older drivers themselves. Here's a change that surprises many people: new rules around driving with pets. We've all seen dogs hanging their heads out of car windows or sitting on drivers' laps, but this is becoming increasingly regulated. The new rules specify that animals must be properly restrained in vehicles. This means your dog needs to be in a crate, secured with a specialized pet seatbelt harness, or restrained in a way that prevents them from moving around the vehicle. Having an unrestrained pet can result in fines up to $400 in some states. But beyond the legal issue, this is a serious safety concern. In an accident, even at low speeds, an unrestrained pet becomes a projectile. A 20-kilogram dog in a 50-kilometer-per-hour crash experiences forces equivalent to half a ton. That can cause serious injury or death to the pet and to human occupants. Roundabout rules are getting clarified and strictly enforced in 2026. When entering a roundabout, you must give way to any vehicle already in the roundabout. When leaving a roundabout, you must signal left. If you're going straight ahead at a crossroad that's a roundabout, you don't signal when entering but must signal left when leaving. If you're turning right, you signal right when entering and then signal left when leaving. Multi-lane roundabouts have additional rules. Generally, use the left lane if turning left or going straight, and use the right lane if turning right or making a U-turn. You must stay in your lane through the roundabout and not cut across lanes. Breaking these rules can result in fines around $350 and 3 demerit points. Parking rules are also getting a major overhaul, especially in urban areas. New time-limited parking technology is being introduced that uses number plate recognition. When you park in a timed zone, cameras register your plate and the time. When your time expires, you automatically get a fine. There's no grace period anymore. This means you can't just run a few minutes over or hope the parking inspector hasn't come by yet. Disability parking is another area seeing stricter enforcement. The new rules make it clear that disability parking permits must be displayed correctly. The vehicle must be parked in a marked disability space, and the permit holder must be either driving or being driven as a passenger. You cannot use someone else's permit, even if they're a family member. The fines for disability parking violations are being increased to over $600 in many jurisdictions. Drug driving laws are being significantly strengthened. Random roadside drug testing is being expanded massively, with the number of tests expected to triple in some states. If you test positive to any illicit drug, including cannabis, methamphetamine, MDMA, or cocaine, you face immediate license suspension, fines exceeding $2,000, and court appearances that can result in criminal convictions. What many people don't realize is that drugs can be detected in your system for days after use. Cannabis can be detected for 12 to 24 hours or even longer for regular users. Methamphetamine can be detected for up to 24 to 48 hours. The rules don't care if you used the drug days ago. If it's in your system and you're driving, you're breaking the law. Seatbelt rules are being enforced more strictly with new detection technology. Cameras can now detect if you or your passengers aren't wearing seatbelts. The driver is responsible for ensuring all passengers under 16 are properly restrained and can be fined for each unrestrained passenger. The penalties are around $400 and 3 demerit points per offense. Child restraint rules are also being updated. Children under 7 must be in an approved child restraint or booster seat appropriate for their age and size. Children under 4 cannot travel in the front seat. Children aged 4 to under 7 cannot travel in the front seat if there are 2 or more rows of seats. Pedestrian crossing rules are being emphasized heavily in the 2026 updates. You must give way to pedestrians on crossings, even if they're still on the other side of the road approaching your lane. You cannot drive through a crossing while a pedestrian is on any part of it. At crossings without lights, you must slow down and be prepared to stop if anyone is waiting to cross. Traffic light rules are being clarified, particularly around yellow lights. A yellow light means stop unless it's unsafe to do so. You should only proceed through a yellow light if stopping would cause you to brake heavily or if you're so close to the intersection that stopping isn't safe. Running red lights results in heavy penalties, over $450, and 3 demerit points in most states. Emergency vehicle rules are being expanded. When an emergency vehicle is approaching with lights and sirens, you must give way by pulling over to the left and stopping if necessary. The 40 km/h rule when passing emergency vehicles stopped on the side of the road is being strictly enforced. When you see emergency vehicles stopped with lights flashing, you must slow to 40 km/h when passing if the speed limit is 80 km/h or less. If the speed limit is over 80, you must slow to 60 km/h. Failure to do this results in fines exceeding $500 and 4 demerit points. Bicycle and cyclist rules are being updated to improve safety. The minimum passing distance rules are being strictly enforced. You must leave at least 1 meter when passing a cyclist if the speed limit is 60 km/h or less, and at least 1.5 meters if the speed limit is over 60. You can cross center lines, including single and double lines, to give cyclists this space, as long as you have a clear view and it's safe to do so. Penalties for not giving cyclists enough space are around $400 and 2 demerit points. Now let's talk about what happens if you break these rules. The demerit point system is designed to identify high-risk drivers. If you accumulate too many points, you face suspension. During suspension, you absolutely cannot drive, not even to work, not for emergencies, not for any reason. If you're caught driving while suspended, you face massive fines, vehicle impoundment, and criminal charges. For serious offenses, you may need to appear in court. This applies to major speeding violations, drink or drug driving, dangerous driving, and driving while suspended. Court appearances can result in much heavier penalties than standard fines, including large fines in the thousands of dollars, lengthy license suspensions, community service, and even jail time for serious or repeat offenses. So what should you do to stay compliant with all these changes? First, stay informed. Road rules change regularly, so checking your state or territory road authority website periodically is smart. Second, drive defensively and courteously. Most accidents are preventable if drivers are paying attention and following the rules. Third, maintain your vehicle properly. Many traffic stops occur because of defective lights, tires, or other equipment issues. For senior drivers, specifically, be proactive about medical assessments. Don't wait until you're forced to get checked. Regular eye exams, hearing tests, and health checkups help ensure you're safe on the road. If your doctor suggests limiting your driving, take that advice seriously. There's no shame in recognizing when it's time to adjust your driving habits. Finally, remember that these rules exist for good reasons. Every traffic law has come about because of accidents, injuries, and deaths on our roads. Australia still loses over 1,000 people every year in road accidents. Following these rules isn't just about avoiding fines, it's about getting yourself and everyone else home safely. That's everything you need to know about the major traffic rule changes coming in 2026. These are significant updates that will affect how every Australian drives. If you found this information valuable, please hit that subscribe button to stay updated on all the important changes affecting Australians. Share this video with your family and friends, especially those who drive regularly, because everyone needs to know these rules. Leave a comment below if you have questions. Thank you for watching Pension Path AUS and drive safely out there, everyone. Let's make 2026 the safest year yet on Australian roads.